So we welcome you here to another episode of From the Desk of the Executive Director. We're not at a desk today.
Nice.
How
Outside.
exciting, right?
That's
We're
right.
outside. We're in a boatyard. And this is my friend Mike that I've gotten to know. Well, actually, I went on his shrimping tour with my friend from Phoenix, Yvonne Harrison. And got talking to his partner and then got to know Mike as he hangs out at the coffee shop that I
Jacked
hang
Up
out.
Coffee.
Jacked Up.
Yeah. It's good
Shout
coffee.
out to Jacked Up.
It's good coffee.
It's great coffee.
Yeah.
So come down and have some coffee in Biloxi, right? It's worth the trip.
We cheated on y'all today. We had to have gas station coffee because we had to be here in the
no.
morning. But yeah, it's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good.
gas station coffee's just wrong.
You need like 3 coffees for one Jacked Up coffee, you know. And I'll probably go to Jacked Up when I leave here so I can get a real cup of coffee. But go ahead.
All right. Well, I always get 2 espresso shots in mine.
Oh wow.
So mine's so jacked up, it's.
Dear God, I could drink like a gallon there in the morning before I go to work. So. That's the way it goes.
And this is his dog. We should introduce his dog, TJ,
Yeah,
right?
This is TJ, the boat dog. If anyone gets a chance to go on the shrimping trip, I bring him every day with me as long as I don't have an appointment.
Oh, that's right.
And he has a vest, and he delivers cold beer.
That's how we remember each
TJ
other.
is a true working dog. He sells
delivers beer?
He delivers beer. So that's what he is. He's supposed to be a duck dog, but duck season's so short we had to utilize him a little more than that. So he works over 300 days a year delivering cold beer.
Wow.
Yeah, so y'all check him
Kind
out.
of like an indentured servant.
No, well, he has to work for his food, man.
That's great.
Yeah, hey, whatever works, right?
Well, we'll get to the topic eventually, right? But
Sure.
we're on coffee, we're on dogs and indentured servants. So
Yeah.
this is actually Mike's boat, and it's here being repaired, right, so to speak?
Yeah,
Or do you want to explain a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. The Sailfish is roughly 1952, I guess, 66, 67 years old, something like that. We got some age on her. She is Biloxi's oldest attraction. Beauvoir wasn't open to the public till the 60s.
Oh, really?
And Ship Island was the first attraction, somewhere around in the 20s, but now she's docked in Gulfport, so here we are left. We are Biloxi's oldest attraction.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've been operating continuously since 1952, 1953. And this is the original girl. And every few years, probably...
Are boats always girls?
You gotta call them by girl.
Okay.
You know why? They give you hell, man.
Everybody catch that?
Yeah. Just recently we started calling hurricanes guys, and that
right.
in the sea there were always girls till a
Always
few
girls.
years ago, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all need girls, and you always call them girls. You got to. But at the end of the day, she was in good shape, but you have to refit a boat every few years, and this boat we work her so hard. I mean, this boat works 3/4 out of the year, every single day, and
3 times a day. Right?
yeah. I mean, basically sun up, sun down. She runs. So at the end of the day, it was time to really take her apart. Let's look at her. Let's do the right thing. I was fortunate enough to get a grant through the Mississippi Gulf Coast National Heritage Area, and they got a block grant, community grant, and basically it would cover 50% of the repairs. So basically it was a $27,500 match that we got. So the cost of our project here was roughly around $50-something thousand. And we're going to go a little over budget because we found some other things to do, but we're getting them done. But I was trying to focus on the front of the boat because that's where we constantly, with wakes in the channel and just twisting and turning for so many years, I was wanting to take her apart and have a professional take care of it. Matthew Hinton is our shipmaster that's basically redoing the boat, and the Coast Guard's been great working with us, and basically instead of, hey, let's see what's here, let's see what's there, we tore the entire front of the boat off. We're tearing her off. The whole 3rd to 25% of the front of the boat is going to be brand spanking new. We went and spot and popped a couple planks here and there, and we're doing the back. So at the end of the day, we were expecting to do half of the boat, just do a complete half redo. By the time we get done, we're really going to have the top side. From here down as you're below the water, from here up would be considered top side. The entire top side is going to be replanked. We're going to have all brand new planks from water up. Believe it or not, with water, if somebody wants to know a little science about owning a wood boat, when you go to a yard, you see a bunch of wood boats and you see rot here and there. Your rot on a wood boat is always above the water line. Salt water does cure your wood. It does some type of breakdown of the wood, and basically it sort of petrifies the wood. So as a boat person, you never really have to worry about a lot of rot below your water line. From washing your boat, rain, different things. Fresh water causes moisture in the wood. Moisture in the wood causes fungus or like an algae type of thing. And then from that, the mold will spread, and then you get your rot. And after 70 years, it happens.
Is this kind of the surface?
This right here is from bottom paint. That's what it is, which has been dried. We kind of sandblasted so the Coast Guard can actually inspect. We've had our bottom inspected thoroughly. They got on here with rubber mallets and beat from the inside, beat from the outside. We've been approved on bottom, and all that's done. Right now, most of our work's been frames and changing planks. But what's awesome about it is when we get done, and that's why I really was excited about you wanting to do a podcast on her, is when we get done with this boat, the way we're doing it, we're not patching the boat. We're fixing the boat. And the boat hasn't had this type of repair ever.
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 Wow.
Not yet, ever. So if she can make it 60-something years from original build, just by popping a plank here and there, changing the frame as you need, this and this and that, well, now we got another 60-something years to go. So we're doing it right. Biloxi has a rich seafood heritage. That's what we're known for. When you go to a welcome center on the state line, or City of Biloxi's new welcome center that we've been having since Hurricane Katrina, that thing got built out there.
Yep.
Seafood museum, everywhere has a nice display or some history about the Hermit of Deer Island and the Sailfish. You know, there's a lot of folklore about this old girl. And as the current owner of the Sailfish, our family's doing whatever it takes to make sure we keep that history and tradition to go. So she'll be around much longer.
That's sweet.
We're doing it right. We're using choice cypress, marine grade cypress. We went to Milton, Florida and got those planks. We're treating it with the right copper tox type of treatment. Everything's 316 stainless steel. Screws.
Yeah.
I mean, them darn screws go a couple $1 a piece. I mean, everything is being done the way it needs to be done. So we're not sparing any expense on it because one, as a business owner, this is our money maker. This is what makes us go. And two, want to last long. I don't want to do this again 2-3 years from now.
Right. Yeah.
We're going all out with it. We're going to do it right.
Yeah. Well, Mike is the captain, basically, of the ship, right? Of Sailfish, and you take her out, and you take, how many folks can you take maximum? I know you can have 20 on the deck upstairs.
Yeah,
right?
the boat is certified for 49 passengers.
Okay.
And we leave 3 times a day. This year we're experimenting a little bit. We are doing online bookings. If somebody wants preferred booking, if someone wants preferred seating, you can do, because sometimes we do sell out, so you can be on your computer and just buy a ticket if you like, or you can pay cash at the dock. We also do a white trout fishing trip on it. We've seen the need of families. You know, you got a 3-4-year-old, a 5-year-old. They don't want to go offshore, and they don't have the attention span to be out there. So for that first fishing trip, we have a $40 fishing trip that fishes right there in Biloxi Channel, catching white trout, ground mullet, sometimes a flounder. And also, if you already been there and done that, and your wife's on that slot machine, and you just want to get away for a second. It's that quick, easy 3-hour fishing trip to just be on the water and drink a cold beer.
Yeah.
So,
well, I know when Yvonne and I were on the tour, you kind of drag the net, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of the old school way of doing it?
Yep. Yeah. There's 2 ways people shrimp in our region. You can shrimp by dragging a trawl, which would be trawl boards. That's what we have hanging up there. Or some people will drag a skimmer net, which is a design of a Cajun / some of the Vietnamese influence that we brought throughout the years. It's just kind of evolved. A lot of people think the skimmers are more efficient the way it is, but the old school way of dragging is dragging a trawl, and that's the way we do. This is considered a single rig that we do. You know, you do have double riggers on the yard. If y'all want to take a picture of a double rigger, I'm positive there's got to be one on the shipyard somewhere. But this is a single rig, and the type of frame that we have to pull our single rig is what they use for Lafitte skiffs. That is called a Kangaroo Frame, is what that's called. That metal apparatus that we have right there, that's what a shrimperman would call a Kangaroo Frame. Kangaroo frames were specifically designed for Lafitte skiffs, and the Sailfish is basically a Lafitte skiff with a cabin on it. When we're in the water, she looks like the tour boat. That's something a lot of people that's drove down our beach for years have seen, that old Sailfish going down the channel. But at the end of the day, you cut that cab off, you got a Lafitte skiff.
Interesting.
That's what she is. This is a big flat bottom boat. Toward the end of the interview, if you want to skim it, you can get down and look at it. This boat is flat as a pancake compared to other boats that have curves. There's advantages of being flat. You can carry more weight. You're more stable. You're more stable. Lafitte skiffs were designed to carry a lot of weight in a small area in shallow water. And that's what we do. So that's why the boat fits for what we do.
And I think you told me this is one of the last boats, or is this the last boat of its kind?
It's really, this is like one of the only boats of its kind.
Wow.
Yeah, this boat, several reasons why this boat is very, very, very unique. But one, wooden vessels, it's one of the reasons why we're going through this extensive repair. Wooden vessels are getting weeded out in use of commercial use for passengers. You know, if a tourist comes down and hops on my boat, they're considered to be a passenger for hire. When someone gives you money to take a ride on your boat, when you go more than 6 people, you have to be approved by United States Coast Guard. And then from there, they do a stability test to let you know how many people legally you can take. Wooden vessels are slowly, because of one, going through the expense of going through the repairs to keep it upgraded, and two, well, that's the main reason. Bottom line is just keeping up, keeping the stability and the integrity of the vessel is a big deal. And every year, either they get flagged and their papers get pulled, or hurricanes weed out boats.
Yep.
As regions get devastated by hurricanes, you know, it comes to a point, how much money are you going to put in a boat to fix it?
Yeah.
And that's what happens with your wooden vessels. So through time, Father Time has done a really big dent on wooden vessels, especially wooden vessels for hire. The coast last year just lost a very historical boat, the Miss Hospitality. Captain Kenny Bahanovich, gentleman was Saltwater Fisherman Hall of Fame through I guess the IFGA, I believe. I don't know if I have that acronym correct, but at the end of the day, him and Captain Trosset both at the same time got honored to being known as some of the best fishermen in the United States, and were put in the Fisherman's Hall of Fame. Well, Captain Kenny kept the same boat all the way till he just retired just a couple of years ago. And the Miss Hospitality is a very historical boat in our area. And last year we lost her to a fire.
Oh my.
Yeah, she burnt to the waterline, and that was really a sad day for a lot of people around here. With old wooden boats, for some reason, people get attached.
Yeah.
You get attached, and that's just one of them boats that we won't see again. So that was one in our local area that went down last year.
Didn't realize.
So that's why we're doing the right things, and going through our inspections and making sure that we're repairing her the way that she needs to be repaired.
Well, and part of the connection to Back Bay is actually Back Bay Mission started 100 years ago, and they started working with Yugoslavian, right?
Yes.
Individuals that were coming here to fish on the coast, and other individuals, especially the Yugoslavian folks. The kids were actually in the shrimping and in the oyster industry. They were living in poverty. They didn't have shoes. Mom and dad were sometimes working. They'd come over. They spent a lot to come over to this country, right? And so we provided education, we provided clothes, we provided shoes. We actually really did a lot kind of also with Vietnamese immigrants that came over. So really that's kind of the connection to the shrimping industry, because it's such a big industry here. And I also want you to talk kind of briefly about your oyster, if you can.
Sure.
Your oystering industry, because that's probably, I don't know which is bigger, shrimping or oyster, probably shrimping here?
Shrimping is huge. It's absolutely huge. Our town actually started on oysters, I believe. One, you could just go a few feet off the beach back in those days, and the oysters were just right there.
Well, and the story was that these Yugoslavian kids were in the oyster factories, right? And they were doing the shucking. And that was pretty hard.
There's, if anybody wants to do the research, there was a Pulitzer Prize winner photographer doing the child labor laws.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, the child labor laws back whatever date that may be. I think that happened 1920s or something like that. A famous photographer of that time was taking pictures in the teens, and he was taking pictures in Chesapeake Bay area. He took pictures in the meat packing businesses. Biloxi, Mississippi, since we were booming in the oyster industry and the shrimp industry,
right?
he came down and took pictures of like 5-6-year-old kids standing on oyster shells shucking in freezing cold weather. And you know, that's some of the dark history of seafood. But you had to get it canned, and those families were happy to have work because they were having to go to missions to. I mean, if whatever it took to get food on the table back in those days. Something called the Great Depression was right during that time period. So everybody as a family worked together to get it. So you can read a picture one way or read it the other way. But at the end of the day, there's some famous pictures of that time depicting those areas. But one thing on a positive note on oysters, what we got going in our region now is aquaculture starting to take off in our region, and our business is getting involved in oyster aquaculture here on the Gulf Coast. We opened an oyster company called the Biloxi Oyster Company. Me and my son and a couple other people are collaborating together. We sell our oysters to French Hermit. Mr. Mike Arguelles and Mr. Nita Arguelles do a really good job at selling for multiple businesses here. There's about 8 of us that pull together. They'll give us a mass text saying, hey, we got an order of 5,000 oysters. Who has oysters to sell? And you chime in, hey, I can fill 1,000, I can fill 1,200. And then you have your own sales on the side too. So it all works out together. But what's neat is University of Southern Mississippi or Department of Marine Resources here in the state of Mississippi have all been working on grants and programs and different things. And it's really neat to see everybody work together on one industry, because we're using science to jump ahead of some of these environmental problems that we've been having over the past few years. And you know, it's a risky business, but we're giving back doing it as well. Yeah, we might make some money, but one oyster filters 50 gallons of water a day. 50 gallons of water a day.
That's amazing.
Much less for the farmer can get 75 cents for that oyster. But there's a lot of work. It's a lot of labor, a lot of risk, and I'm on this girl every day, and I get to play with tourists, but I do it 300 and something days a year, and I'm not going out fishing. When I go to my oyster farm, I'm actually fishing. It kind of makes me feel a little alive, getting back to the old roots, you know. And it's been fun getting it. It's kind of like the Old West, going out there doing something new, and that's what we've been doing, and hopefully it takes off. My son is getting involved in the aspect of trying to make oyster seedlings from scratch, taking the brood stock, actually making them spawn, making larvae to set, to making the baby oysters, and that's a whole nother ball of wax over my head. But we're getting involved in that. So that just goes to show you that there's multiple levels in the seafood industry. And if you're willing to blood, sweat, and tears, there's money to be made. But right now, there's something more than money. We have an environmental issue. And oysters is one of those main dominoes that, one, by going aquaculture, you're taking pressure off the wild. If they got to shut those reefs down a little bit, we still have product that we could sell to the general public. Two, the oysters that we have out there growing, it's doing just like that wild guy. It's out there cleaning the water. So we're doing a double hit right there. One, we're helping supply. Two, we're also helping cleaning the environment, and that's pretty neat, because the wild guys and people that's been in commercial fishing forever, we always known for damaging the environment and hurting things and taking. That's what the general public thinks of someone that goes to the sea, and they don't see that anybody that does this for a living knows that if we hurt what gives you your money, you're not going to be in business next year. And that's the way a wild shrimperman thinks too. They take a bad rap for a lot of things, but they know that old girl, that big old body of water out there, that's where their money is. So they don't like Bonnie Care spillways. They don't like hurricanes coming in damaging the environment. They don't want none of that. They just they want that old girl to keep bringing what she brings every year to them.
Yeah,
so.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So I think any other things you want to share?
I think that your organization today, even though y'all have evolved different ways, I know y'all have multiple levels of different things that y'all do for people, and y'all do a phenomenal job. I know I have personal friends that has had to go and use some of your services, and y'all hands down do a great job, and we are very happy that y'all here on the coast and y'all staying alive and doing what you need to do, and thank you for what y'all do.
Yeah. Well, thank you for keeping this alive and this boat alive, right? She's a fine vessel.
If she don't kill me, I don't think anything can.
Well, and I thank you for, Mike has become really a friend, and he has great stories and great history. Your family's been in this industry, right?
Oh yes, sir.
And so this is, I think this is such a beautiful part of the coast of Mississippi, and it's a rich part. We have such a rich history here. And when I moved into my neighborhood, what I find amazing, and when in talking to you and other individuals, and the two gentlemen that run the shipyard, Kim and his partner, it's fascinating because people remember, right, where individuals lived and what individuals did, and they keep history alive. And this is keeping history alive. And in my neighborhood, I'll have folks. I live on the street, Travia here in Biloxi, right? And all my neighbors will say, "Well, that was the Murphy house. That was."
Oh yeah, they
so
remember
the
all
homes, right? The histories that we hold, the stories that we hold.
It's a big deal in the South. If you put a family land up for sale, you got to call the whole family to find out if anybody wants the house before you put it up for sale.
Exactly.
If you sell a house from underneath anybody, you're in trouble. And they'll remember it too.
Yeah.
But one thing I like to say is, what we do on our boat is we do keep history alive. We try to roll in Mother Nature and ecosystem and heritage all into one little 70-minute trip. And the main thing that we like to do is, since it kind of comes naturally, since it's what we've done all of our whole life, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Every trip's a little different. We have fun, and anytime I get anybody new that comes work for me, that's one of the things I'm telling them is, hey, if you have a bad day, go ahead, you need to go home, because if you're not having fun, nobody on this boat's having fun. And that's what it's about. We like to teach you a little bit and have a good time. That's what it's all about.
I have to say, when I was on the tour, I laughed a lot. I enjoyed it. You guys were really funny. But when it came to holding the shrimp, because they were bringing the shrimp around for us to hold and take pictures of, I just wasn't there yet, right?
Yeah, well, you'll grow to it. You'll get to it.
So thanks for your time.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah,
thank you.
Okay, and thank you everybody for joining us. Oh, your pooch is back. For joining us for this particular edition of From the Executive Director's Desk. And come on down, take a tour. Once the boat's back in the water, right? Which will be.
We're looking mid-February. We'll be back in the water at the latest, the first part of March. We're kicking it every day. Right now, there's behind the other side of the boat. There's 3 guys working on the boat right now. We're trying our best to get out there early because we already got online bookings and groups and everything else, and we don't want to disappoint any of our coastal Mississippi visitors. We want to get out there.
That's great. So Biloxi shrimping trip, and which harbor? You're at the harbor near.
We're at the Biloxi Small Craft Harbor. I always tell people, same parking lot as McElroy's. Come on down.
That's right, McElroy's. You can see how the shrimp, right? You can go on the shrimp tour and then eat shrimp.
That's right.
That's right. Well, thank you again. Have a great day, folks.